My name is Elaine Murray, and for the past 9 years, I've lived what most people would call an ordinary life. I'm a 36-year-old single mom and an accountant in Minnesota, but behind those neat spreadsheets and after-school pickups, there's a story I never thought I'd tell. Every morning, my son Finn, a bright-eyed 9-year-old, wakes up before me, carefully laying out his baseball card binder like it's the crown jewels. His obsession started at 6, when his father, Gary, mailed him a pack from across the country. That single gift became his world. He'd whisper, "Mom, this is my ticket to the big leagues," clutching his cards with pride. Watching him love something so deeply always reminded me why I fought so hard to build a life for us. But behind that joy, there's a darker history, a family story soaked in favoritism and betrayal. I grew up with a younger sister, Laura, who could do no wrong in my parents' eyes. I was the quiet achiever, working hard for scholarships and awards. Laura was the charming one who got the convertible at 17, even after she cost me my scholarship with one cruel lie. My mother, Beatrice, praised Laura endlessly, while my father, Stanley, stood by silently, letting the unfairness fester like an old wound. The bitterness only grew over the years. When I fell in love with Gary in college, Laura found ways to interfere, whispers, little manipulations, until cracks formed in my marriage. I lost him, and she never faced a single consequence. Even now, my promotion at work is nothing compared to Laura's potential. My son receives second-hand books, while her children get drones and game consoles. Still, I force myself to keep showing up at family gatherings, for Finn. I tell myself it's so he can bond with his cousins, Hazel and the others. But every time I walk through their doors, I feel like I'm stepping onto a battlefield where the smiles are sharp and the love is conditional. Laura's friend Constance, with her ever-present phone, is like the camera in a reality show I never agreed to star in. Hazel's 8th birthday was coming up. Finn was buzzing with excitement as he wrapped the little baseball playset we could afford. He even begged to bring his card binder along. I hesitated, my stomach tightening, but how could I crush his joy? I said yes. That night, Laura sent me a text, "Something special planned for the party. Don't miss it." I overheard her whispering on the phone with Constance, their laughter low and cruel. I didn't know what they were planning, but I knew the target. It wasn't me this time. It was my little boy. As we drove to my parents' house, Finn chatted about players and rookie cards. But I could barely focus. My hands gripped the steering wheel. This wasn't just another family gathering. Something was waiting for us. And for the first time, I wasn't sure I could protect him from it. When we pulled up to my parents' house, the yard was covered in pastel balloons and folding tables. It looked like a scene from a perfect suburban party, on the outside, anyway. But I knew better. It was the kind of perfection that cracks the moment you touch it. "Go have fun, champ," I told Finn as we stepped inside. He flashed me his usual grin, his backpack strapped tight with the cards inside. I forced myself to smile back, even as my stomach knotted. Laura arrived not long after, gliding through the crowd like she owned the place. Constance followed, phone already in hand, that familiar smirk plastered on her face. Beatrice laughed with guests. Stanley flipped burgers. No one saw the storm coming. Except me. Finn ran off to join his cousins near the swings, his joy lighting up his face. For a moment, I let myself breathe. But then it started. Hazel's older brother snatched the bat from Finn's playset and shoved him aside. "You don't need this anyway," he sneered. Their little sister pointed at his backpack, laughing. "Look at that baby bag." Finn forced a smile, always trying to fit in. I clenched my fists. I wanted to march over, but Laura's voice cut through the air. "Just let them play," she said sweetly, her smile fake, her tone sharp. Constance giggled, angling her phone toward the kids. The games turned cruel quickly. The boy tripped Finn during tag, called him slow. The girl joined in. Finn clutched his backpack like a shield, his eyes flicking toward me for comfort. But Beatrice waved a dismissive hand. "Kids will be kids," she said. Stanley didn't even look up from the grill. I walked closer, but Laura leaned into Constance. "Just wait," she whispered. I felt it in my bones. This wasn't random. It was planned. Finn didn't see it. All he wanted was to belong. My heart broke watching him try, even as the laughter around him sharpened. Later, Finn carefully showed them his cards, his prized rookie card front and center. Their faces twisted with mockery. The boy grabbed a card, waved it around, and tossed it into the dirt. The others laughed. Finn blinked fast, fighting tears. Laura smirked. Constance recorded. I froze between rage and fear. I looked at my parents, nothing. No one defended him. And then, I remembered every betrayal. The lost scholarship, the silent father, the mother's cold praise, Laura's sabotage. I thought I could shield Finn. But I was wrong. Whatever Laura had planned, this was just the beginning. I'll never forget the sound that followed. The kind of sound that freezes a parent's heart. A strangled sob from the tent in the backyard. I ran, my shoes sinking into the grass, lungs burning. When I pulled back the flap, the world narrowed to one thing: my son. Finn sat curled on the ground, shaking, his little hands clutching at nothing. His cheek was bruised. His shirt smeared with frosting and dirt. And all around him lay the scattered remains of his baseball cards, his treasure, shredded and crushed. Finn. My voice cracked as I knelt. He looked up, eyes red, whispering, "Mom, don't say anything. They'll just hate me more." I gathered him in my arms. His small frame shook against me, and rage flooded my veins like fire. Outside, I heard laughter. Laura's laughter. I turned and saw her standing with Constance, her arms crossed, that smug grin I'd known my entire life. Constance's phone light blinked red. She was recording everything. "What did you do?" I snapped, my voice shaking. Laura rolled her eyes. "It's just kids playing. Stop being so dramatic." Constance snorted. I could see it in their faces. They wanted a reaction. They wanted to humiliate not just Finn, but me. I helped Finn to his feet, gathering what was left of his cards. "We're leaving," I said. Laura's voice followed like poison. "Always running away. No wonder Gary left." Something inside me snapped. I marched up to her, Finn's small hand clinging to mine. "You hurt my son," I said through clenched teeth. Laura smirked. "Please. He's just sensitive." Before I even realized it, my hand met her cheek with a sharp, clean slap. The sound silenced the party. Constance gasped but didn't lower her phone. Beatrice stormed over, glaring at me. "Elaine, what is wrong with you?" Then she looked at Finn and said the words that will haunt me forever. "Is this about that unwanted child again?" Finn flinched. My heart shattered. I stood tall. "Don't you ever call him that again." Stanley looked at the ground, silent as always. Constance kept filming, enjoying the chaos. "Give me that video," I demanded. She held it tighter. So I did the only thing I could. I pulled out my phone and took photos of Finn's bruise and his ruined clothes. Laura laughed. "Making a fool of yourself, as usual." But this time, I wasn't backing down. I knelt by Finn. "Let's go home, sweetheart." He nodded, trusting me completely. As we walked past them, whispers swirled, but I didn't care. My family had crossed a line they couldn't return from. That day, something broke, but something else was born, too. A fire. I'd spent my life letting their cruelty define me. But now, they'd gone after the one person I'd die to protect. And I wasn't going to let it slide. That night, back in our small apartment, Finn sat on the couch, the bag of shredded cards on his lap. His bruise had darkened, and I pressed ice gently against his cheek. He didn't cry much, not anymore. But his voice was quiet when he asked, "Why do they hate me, Mom?" I swallowed the lump in my throat. "They don't get to decide who you are, Finn. You're strong. You're loved. And I'll never let them hurt you again." The next morning, I filed an anonymous report with Child Services, attaching the photos. Laura thought she was humiliating me with that video she leaked online, but it backfired. People saw the truth. Strangers rallied behind Finn, condemning the cruelty. When I confronted my parents, Beatrice brushed it off, just family fun. Stanley stayed silent, his silence screaming louder than words. I told them calmly, "If you can't protect Finn, you're no family to us." And I meant it. I blocked Laura's number. I stopped showing up to gatherings where we were never welcome. Finn started therapy. Slowly, I watched the fear leave his eyes, replaced by determination. Gary, guilt finally catching up, sent new baseball cards and promised to visit. It wasn't perfect, but Finn's smile returned as he carefully placed new cards in his binder. This time, he didn't have to look over his shoulder. Months passed. My career grew. I started volunteering at Finn's school, coaching debate, the skill Laura once tried to destroy. Finn joined a baseball league. His story touched people. Donations poured in to help rebuild his collection. He stood taller every day, surrounded by kids who saw his worth, not his weakness. Laura and Constance faced consequences they never expected. The video cost Laura her reputation and job opportunities. Constance disappeared from social media, unable to handle the backlash. My parents reached out, but I set strict boundaries. Supervised visits only, no exceptions. One summer afternoon, I watched Finn trade cards with new friends. His laugh rang clear, free from the weight of our family's cruelty. He looked up at me and said, "Thanks for protecting me, Mom." And in that moment, I knew, walking away from toxic family isn't failure. It's freedom.